Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a squat and deadlift day. Cut's going decently well, down to 219 at this point, pretty much almost 219 on the dot, so happy with that. A little bit of weight loss finally kicked back in. I was around 228, at the heaviest just when I started this cut about 3 weeks ago. So again, the first week or so was a lot of water loss. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, I think the loose skin's going to tighten up around the waist with another 10 pounds of fat loss. At least I'm hoping. And again, I like doing this so everyone can see it kind of in real time. We can see how it goes and it's there being documented. So I think it's great that I'm doing it shirtless right now with no belt. But beltless training. So back squats, I feel like when I did my rep work, I probably should get my stance a hair wider on these top sets. I feel like I can get better depth if I go just a little wider, even though I'm trying to do Olympic full squats here with no belt. 405 for a triple, kind of pausing just a little on the third rep. Felt plenty heavy for a top set. And again, what I've decided to do here, just like with my other upper body stuff, one good heavy set, and then after that, most of my stuff needs to be real rep work, right? I need to get that training volume in, especially I think with the limited number of sets. I want some really quality volume sets in. So I dropped down to 315, decided to get some sets at 10. These are pretty taxing for me right now, even though I've been doing the sled work, working on conditioning. Just sets of 10 on a full squat with 315 are pretty hard. These are cardiovascularly taxing for me. But they will get my legs back up, I think, particularly combined with the sled work. So the goal here, though, is to take these ass to grass. So I realized 10s would be challenging with 315, so that's what I decided to work with here. I get near the end, I like to pause it a little, but I'm sinking these as deep as I can go, trying to find my stance that lets me get, the best depth while doing a high bar. Again, this is totally different than if I do the same thing with a low bar, right? And squatting a little bit high, because I'm taking these to my full depth, trying to sink them, trying to drop them deep, and then pausing a little at the end. These are pretty challenging. My quads were burning. Everything felt lit up. I felt like I had a little bit of a cardio workout from that. So again, something I need to work on. One reason I didn't want to go mess with 10s on this stuff, I'm just kind of like, this is not going to be fun. But I did a couple sets of it, and overall, though, it felt good in spite of it making me breathe a little heavy. It felt good. And I think this is definitely the trend I need to go. One heavy set and then doing 10s or higher, all right? Or a minimum of 8s. Because, again, good quality work. Now, I only did 2 sets of this because I've got to build the work capacity up. I may take this up to 3 eventually. I may take it up to 3. We'll see how it goes. But, again, try to focus on quality reps. Try to make every rep count, not rush through the sets. Notice I'm resetting at the top. I hate it when people, they just skip the top of the squats. I get at the top, get a deep breath again, sink it, trying to pause the last rep just a little bit. But again, felt like it was quality work. Even though I did only 3 total work sets of squats, they all felt like good quality sets. Nice good stimulation on those. And again, I think any muscle memory I can get, I think in the lower body from previous size while I'm cutting will be welcome. Deadlifts, I decided let's just do deficit work on the stiff bar. I'm already doing beltless, and I think last workout I did normal deadlifts with a stiff bar. But it's like, let's do a little deficit work. I think deficit's probably a little better given my hypertrophy goals at the moment of just getting bigger, getting thicker. So again, just did these on a 1-inch plate. Just did 495 for 5, and this was challenging enough. Again, wasn't an all-out 100% set, but it was challenging. I got to the 5th rep and decided to hold it at the top just briefly and then set it back down. Again, trying to get that little bit of grip training in there. My forearm felt a little fatigued, almost strained. I was a little worried on it because it's down there near that bicep insertion, so I'm looking at it, but it's technically lower than where the bicep insertion would be, so I'm like, okay, I was a little worried there for a moment. I decided to use my figure 8 straps for the RDLs instead of the roll-up ones just to see if they felt better. Also, I felt like doing 405 today on these. I know I did 315 for 10s, and I went down and did 8s for 365. First day trying them. So I decided to go ahead and just do 6s. Now, granted, I'm not counting the rep where I pick it up off the floor. Felt like 6 should be just about right. At least that's what it felt like on the first set. So I did it for 2 sets with 405 on these, trying to get that stretch at the bottom, right? Again, working the hamstrings. Although here's what I'm going to say. I don't know that the hamstrings felt the same burn that they got from the 8 to 10. So I think I need to try to push these reps harder on the 405 or drop the weight back down. But I'm still adapting. I just now added RDLs back in. I'm hoping maybe the strength will come up. Maybe I can get to some 10s with this. Even though the 6s give a nice, good mechanical tension, I didn't quite feel like the pump or the burn that I would like in the hamstrings. You know, I almost felt more lat on these than I did hamstring, even though the hamstrings, you can see them working. They're clearly working. I'm going to play with this just a little bit to get this where I want it, right? To get it right where I want it. But any way you break it down, this is still a great hamstring exercise. Technically, the deficit deadlifts first are a good hamstring exercise. But I'm trying to just get some stuff where I get into those lengthened positions, just like I'm getting the quads there with the squats by doing Olympic-style squats. I want to get the hamstrings that same sort of benefit. All right, hanging leg raises. Again, I was able to do these with just hanging off the bar. Now, obviously, I can't quite get the same reps, so I'm going to keep working on this. But I didn't feel my grip giving out, although there's definitely a chest stretch and grip training involved with doing these. So again, this is going to be my ab work for a minute, doing these hanging. So again, that gives me some extra hanging work, gets me extra grip training so that we can double down on that grip work. While training abs. I feel like my abs are a weak link a little bit when I'm doing the Olympic style squats. So some extra ab work will help. Plus, while I'm cutting down, I need the ab work. And it's not necessarily for the reason of, to six pack look better. I mean, it probably will as I lose the fat around it. But as we lose fat around the core and inside the core and everything, sometimes we can lose a little bit of that intra-abdominal pressure. And every time I cut, I feel like my core is giving out sometimes on heavy squats and deadlifts. So definitely want to make sure I keep it strong, and I think it would be a wise idea for me to stay on top of the ab training. When I'm bulking, it doesn't seem to matter as much. I feel like everything feels more solid in there, but it's also because there's probably extra fat around everything. So as I cut down, making sure ab work is done regularly to keep my core strong is going to be an important part of the game. Right? It's going to be an important part of the game. And just to make sure that this video is long enough, yes, I threw in my deficit deadlifts again, but this is a nice clean set. Pretty good work set. Real happy with it. Felt like there's good growth stimulus. Happy with the overall workout. The only thing I would change is maybe on the top end set of squats. I should have taken those an inch or two wider on the stance. I feel like it would have been a little better depth for me had I done that, right? But anyway, you break it down, I felt a ton of quad on all the squatting. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.